Welcome back, everybody, to MotorCast episode 2. The moment you've all been waiting for, where I get to introduce my partner, my dear friend, and a freaking legend in the making, Homer Lopez. Please help me in welcoming Homer with us here today. We're going to get to know him. We're going to get to know his story. And I'm going to get to share with you all the reason that I have so much love and respect for him. Homer, why don't you just say hello to everybody before we get started, brother?
Hey everybody, it's very nice to be with you again on our second episode of MotorCast. Bro, I really love that name, MotorCast. It just sounds like us.
It just sounds like us, man. And big props to Homer for being so creative and coming up with an amazing name.
Awesome. So let's start.
Yeah, before we get to asking Homer questions and get to hear his side of the story, if I could just share with you a little bit about my version of what Homer is. I feel like, Homer, your story, the way that you're living, that's the story, and everybody really, but especially immigrants. This is the story they call back home about. This is the story they share with everybody. This is the story that they want everybody to embody, right? And so you've been in America for just a few years. You started off at the bottom of the totem pole with a company that you really weren't sure about, right? This is way before we had the glitz and glamour. We were still in our Atlanta location. And you have changed from that moment that I first met you to today. You have changed emotionally. You have changed professionally, physically, mentally. And Homer has ultimately become just somebody that even me and the rest of our team love, respect, and learn from on a daily basis. Somebody who can keep everybody else accountable. So I wanna rather than just start off, Homer, with just your story with Motorvation, when you started that kind of stuff, I want to take it back a little bit more, because I feel like who you are today really started way before Motorvation, right? Unlike me, your story started way who you are as a person today and how you became who you are today. And for those of you that don't know, Homer is our marketing director, creative director, anything that comes to getting our faces in front of you, that's Homer is responsible for that. So Homer, why don't you take us back? Where does your story first start and leading you up into coming to America?
So my story started like 4 years ago. I had my business back in Honduras. But I just felt like I needed something more, right? But I was doing okay back in Honduras, where I'm from. But after then the pandemic came in 2020. Then the 2 hurricanes hit my house back in Honduras, in which we had I can say the blessing to lose all back in Honduras. We started but from scratch, and then other stuff that happened, in Latin America that everyone knows that happens in Latin America in regards of gang members and all that stuff. I had to move, or had the opportunity to come to United States. And I just felt like, okay, I got this brand new opportunity in which I just know that I need to succeed, not just for me, but for my wife and my daughters. I mean, I'm always focused on make them grow, on grow myself to make them grow, right? So that's my story. I mean, I miss my country. I miss my house every single day, but I just knew that coming to this country was the best thing to do, and for me and for my family. It's because I don't know. It's just like I just felt it. Like I knew that I was gonna be in a very good position if I came to the country. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I had something like already done for me. It's just like I just knew it. Like when you have that fire inside of you, that you know that something good is gonna come out of this. So I just knew it. My wife knew it, and we just made a decision back in the days to to move to this country, and I just know that me as a person, I'm a very diligent person. Diligent meaning that I'm always gonna do more of what I'm expected to do. So I started like that in motivation. I started, you said it already, on an entry level position. So that was my opportunity, and after that,
That's amazing, man. And I see you trying to creep into motivation, but you just said some amazing nuggets that I don't think we can let go. There was two things that really stuck out to me. Number one, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many people that are describing a hurricane and starting over as a blessing to them. So that's just to kind of bring you inside the mind of Homer and that attitude of gratitude. But I think now from hearing the first answer, your story starts really in the meat of it starts when you were an entrepreneur.
correct.
So tell me about that. Who in their right mind wakes up and says, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur"?
So
What made you start there?
it goes back to, I would say, 2012, 2013. There was a friend that after for some time he was a mentor. He was doing a side hustle with selling T-shirts, and like he was doing a side hustle, which I admire and respect him because um, I remember he taught me a little bit of graphic design. He gave me 6 classes, 3 of Photoshop and 3 of Illustrator. That's my background. I didn't go to school. I didn't do that. I just learned out of 6 weeks, and all the things that I learned them on my own. And I remember that at that time we were so close, and I told him, "Hey, I need to make more money because I had my family. My oldest daughter, she was about to go to school. Back in Honduras, school is expensive, right? In order to have a bilingual education, it's super expensive. I need a side hustle. I needed to make more money, and he was doing this. He had all the contacts, but one thing that I'm always gonna be grateful with him is that he told me, okay, this is the place where I buy T-shirts. This is the place where I print my T-shirts. This is where I buy signs, and then I resell them. He just taught me everything, right? So at the moment, I just felt that like, okay, this is gonna be, a couple extra bucks on my pocket at the end of the month. But after 5, 6, 7 months, I just noticed that, wait, I'm doing way more money than on my regular job, right? So there's where the entrepreneur mindset started. It's just like I'm always on the look or looking what to do in order to grow. I know that um that's my road. Like I just came to do that, and not just for me. It's just the fact that and sorry if I'm always like circling,
Yeah, you.
but
Man.
I just know that I need to grow for me, but in order to leave a legacy to my daughters. Like for example, I'm always teaching my daughters, hey, you need to do this and that, so that you won't be relying on a job or whatever, right? So I'm just always learning, and that's how my journey as an entrepreneur started. Then I just added some other services into that side hustle, in which then after a couple of years, it came into my company back in Honduras.
That's awesome, man. And I can hear from obviously knowing you, but just in this conversation, it seems like the real fire is your family,
Right.
right? Your wife, your daughters, and it seems like that is the end goal, is to make sure that they're always protected. So if there was a better motivation than that, I wouldn't know it, man. So that's pretty amazing that that's what your why is.
Mm.
All right, so you started the t-shirt business. You add some other services to it. It starts making more money than your regular job. Now, fast forward to the turning point of you coming to America. What was that like? What was that transition like? One day you're in your home country, the next day you're in America. What was that like to you?
Wow, those first, I would say, 6 months were very complicated because one, here everything is way, way far. Like if I wanna go to Walmart, I gotta drive like 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Back in Honduras or in my country, that's the first thing that I struggle with is the distance between places. Because back in Honduras, the farther that you can go is to work. It's 30 minutes. That's that you drove and you were in traffic and you were, oh my God, you came so tired back to the house right at the end of the day. And if you wanted to do something quick, it's just like 5, 10, 8 minutes away. So that's the first thing that I struggle with, the distance. Then I came to the country on myself, like to start a
Without your family.
without my family yet. And we were separated like for 4 months. So that was super complicated too. And other than that, it was just the fact that I was struggling at the time is that the fact that I had to work 6 days a week. Back in Honduras, no one works more than five, probably 5 days and a half, but no one's working 6 days a week like that. I need to have two works mentality is just America or United States. Back in Latin America, no one has that mentality, right? So that's another thing that I struggle with. And it's just like, it was very complicated at the beginning. I didn't have a car, so I was car riding, and my ride at the time, he was a sales guy here. So man,
Who was it?
Kevin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's right.
at that time, he was a sales guy, so he was always with customers at the end of the day, like at 7, 8, 9. I was just sitting at the parking lot doing nothing, then going back to the house. I just felt like I went into bed, and 30 minutes later, the alarm was ringing already. Had to come back. It was super.
I mean, just to hear that, man. So you went from being an entrepreneur and making some money to coming to America, losing it all, and having to start over. And now what I'm hearing is like, okay, you now you have to work 6 days. You've never done that before. You have to drive everywhere, and everything is super far away. And then you don't even have a decent schedule because you have to come in at your in time, but then you're here super late because you're with this other salesperson that's so awesome to give you rides.
Right.
And then you go home and you're by yourself. Right? Like what does your mental look like at that moment? Like what did you have something that was pushing you to like, yo, this is not it? Or what fueled you to make your first change? And what was that first change?
So to be honest with you, again, going a little bit back to my story in the pandemic, my business was dying because the whole country was shut down and all that stuff. There was just like two businesses, 2 to 5 businesses that were accepted to be working, right? Like food, medical, and all that stuff. And then in the country, they slowly opened it. And at the time, I started to sell cement, like concrete. And the business was awesome. I started a new business at the time during the pandemic. I was making 3 times the amount of money that I was doing on my business. And I remember at the time, it was 1 year forward after that when I started the second business, is that I remember that I was debating if getting a box truck, right? And I was supposed to get that box truck. And when I was on the way to get it on a loan, I was praying and I told God, hey God, if you want me to be here, allow me the opportunity here in Honduras, allow me the opportunity to buy the box truck. But if you want me to be in America or in the United States, put a blocker on this conversation. 5 minutes later, I go to this guy, and hey, we had the agreement already to buy the box truck. Yeah, but you need to give me your car and blah blah. So out of nowhere, he switched, or he changed the agreement that we had at the time, and I just felt like, okay, that's the signal. That's the signal that told me move out of Honduras. So that was my feel, and that's still my feel. Like, I just know that I received that signal at that time, and whatever I do here in the United States is gonna be successful because I just God allowed me that opportunity. God told me that day, I don't need you in Honduras.
That's amazing, man. And we're not gonna just skip over the fact of how brave you are. You just started a sign and t-shirt business from scratch. Then you start a cement business from scratch. And then you just let go of everything and you move to a whole new country from scratch, man. So I think that really, hearing that really reminds me, like, okay, this is why this dude is who he is. So bring us now. You're here at Motorvation. Bring us to a little bit past that. You're here at Motorvation. I guess based on your relationship with yourself, with your relationship with your God, there's something more meant for you, right? You're going home by yourself every single day. You have to wait on rides. What is your mind like there? And did you make a commitment, or did you make a decision that there is going to be more for you at Motorvation, or what was that like on your escalator up per se?
I think that is for me. I don't know if I saw it on a video or I read it. It's just like the fact that, okay, I'm here. Let's burn the bridges on the back. So I'm not going back. So I just burned whatever I had behind, and I just committed myself to Motorvation at the time. So I just right at the beginning, even though I was on an entry level position, I felt respected and loved all the time. So I just felt grateful since day one.
Awesome, man. And now just share for everybody listening, everybody watching, share the skeleton of what your growth was like at Motorvation, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the parts. But so you started at an entry level position, which was a porter, and then what were the other positions you had, and lead us up to the present day?
So I started as a porter back in 21, and 3 months after, I went in. We reopened the downtown location. And Motorvation at the time, Motorvation knew that I was a photographer. Like, that's one of my main things that I love to do. So I just was seizing for the opportunity to be the photographer, right? So I can grow.
Yeah,
I'm always on the growth mentality, right? On going to the next step. So I remember we reopened the Midtown location. When we reopened, we went there and I started there as a porter / photographer.
that's
right.
so Motorvation. Everybody's gonna do 10 different things. That's
Yeah. So I started doing the photographer. Then I started creating some different content for social media. And slightly, I started removing the porter position or title. And I just stayed as a photographer, started creating some content. And after that, the big location with it, which is this one in Jonesboro, they started noticing what I was doing. Right out of nowhere, Mr. Earl, the owner, he just showed up into a parking lot in Midtown. Hey, I need you to go to Jonesboro. We need to have a discussion and this and that. And I was like, okay. And I remember going into Mr. Earl's office with you, and okay, we have this plan. You're gonna be the photographer for both locations. Start doing what you're doing in the other location and do it here. So since that day, I'm proud to be the only department. At that time, I was the only one, right? But now we are a whole marketing department. But since that day, I'm proud of being the only person that has access to both stores. 6 months after, like over a year with Motorvation at that time, I just and this is something I really value. Probably I shouldn't mention it, but that conversation created a big mindset, or changed my mindset. I asked at the time for a raise, right? I asked for a raise. I remember when I asked for more money at the time, my mentor here in Motorvation, which is Rahim, he told me, hey, yeah, you're doing an awesome job, but I'm just feeling like I'm just seeing you as a leader. Create your marketing department. There's so much more value that you can bring than just being the photographer and do it, because I'm seeing a leader on you in the company, right? And I just remember that, and like my mindset, I'm sorry, is like always growing. I'm always growing, and that's why I didn't felt it like disrespectful. I think other people will have received that conversation disrespectful, or just saying, nah, this guy is just lowballing me. He doesn't want to pay me more. For me, that was the breaking point here in Motorvation. 3 months after, I was in the marketing manager department, and now I'm the marketing director for the whole Motorvation, both stores, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing in Motorvation. The only thing that I've been doing here in Motorvation is growing.
We love that, man. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the transfer from porter / photographer to just a photographer. And I heard you say it, but it's almost like you made the decision of, hey, I don't want to be a porter anymore, and you made it happen. Is that right? Am I right to hear that?
Yes, and also I would like to say that Kevin, my cousin, which I love and respect, and I'm very grateful with him, is that he pushed for me to get that position. I remember he had probably once a week. He was at the time when Mr. Earl was more involved in the entire operation of Motorvation. He was just pushing Mr. Earl. Hey, this is a good photographer. This is a good photographer. So 50% of my growth for the photographer position has to be with Kevin, definitely, which I'm grateful. But other than that, I mean, is that I just knew it. I just knew it that I was not a regular person, just another immigrant coming into the country. I just knew it. I just know that I just need to grow. I just need to develop myself, to grow, and I just knew that, which I respect, I value. I still help the potters whenever I have the chance, but I just knew that all my expertise, all the knowledge that I have is way more than the position that I was having at that time. I just knew that Motorvation needed help in general, so I knew that moving from porter to a photographer was me helping more to the company and the entire operation.
Awesome, man. And I think that really embodies what Motorvation is looking for in team members. Sometimes we just don't know what we need until somebody else comes out and says, hey, this is what I can do for you. This is how I can be more useful. What I want you to do, Homer, is I would love for you to share the story of you just talked about how you knew there was more to it, and you've shared the story with me a couple times that I'd love for you to share with everybody else about. I guess you were at the muffler place when you were a porter.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories with you, man. If you could share that with everybody.
Yeah, that time I never did it. I mean, I'm still owing myself to do that. So there was when I was a porter at the beginning here in Motorvation, probably I had like 2 or 3 weeks working with the company, and my boss at that moment sent me to this muffler shop, and I don't know what the conversation was at that moment, but it was kind of hilarious. At the time, he told me, "Hey, are you the new? I don't want to say the name. No, I'm coming for his place." Or, yeah, I'm coming for his position. Are you sure? I don't think you're gonna get it. Just sit and watch me get it. At that time, right? But some time after that happened, it's just like I did way more.
That's crazy,
than I expected.
right? That is freaking amazing.
But it was just the mentality. I knew I came with that hunger.
And I see it in you every day, man. And I hope everybody else can see it and feel it like how I can see it and feel it. I want to talk a little bit about Homer. Just being an immigrant like you, I feel like there's not to say more pressure, but there's a little bit more on us based on cultural differences and things like that. What would you like yourself to represent for all the people back home, all the people in Latin America, and just immigrants in general who are starting complete something totally different? Like, I feel like from my point of view, this is the story everybody wants, but like, what do you want to be viewed as?
Well, I want to be viewed as someone that is responsible, someone that is honest all the time, someone that is always hungry. I think that's one thing that makes a difference. One thing that I always say, and with no disrespect, is that if you want to grow here in this country, whatever job that you have, is first of all is just show up. Like
So,
I'm just that's something that is weird to me. Back in Honduras, everyone shows up to their job every day, but here there's always an excuse. So
somebody's sick, my
yeah,
kid is that,
yeah.
this and that. We won't even get into all that.
So yeah, I mean that's the first thing. The first thing that we need to, or an immigrant should be doing, is show up, be on time, be diligent, and that's how I want to be known, of like a person um, that is always growing. Basically,
Somebody you could rely on.
someone that can rely on, someone that I'm considering myself also a very loyal person. Um, I've been with Motorvation, uh, not because of just a job, but it's just like I'm loyal to Motorvation. I love the mentality. I love the environment. I love the opportunities that Motorvation is giving, not just to me, but to every person that wants the opportunity. Because it's not that every person wants the opportunity too.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like from my seat here, I feel like you also hold motivation to a level of accountability. I feel like just with the things that are important to you and how your growth has been, just like even sometimes seeing you just reminds me like, yo, I've got to be working on X, Y, and Z. You know, you bring a sense of accountability that I appreciate so much. So now let's get into the intangibles, Homer. What is your vision for yourself? What is your vision with Motorvation, and what is your vision for Motorvation?
Um, can you repeat that third question?
Yeah, so let's get started with what is your vision for yourself?
For myself, I mean, it's just building an empire, with my wife, so that my daughters can take it after, I don't know, some years. That's my vision. I'm not even close, but I just know that I'm working on it, and my wife is working alongside with me.
That's
so
amazing.
it's awesome.
That makes me super happy, man. And what one thing I love is no matter the conversation we're having, your wife and your kids are in the forefront of your thinking. So I really appreciate that. Now, what is your vision with you alongside Motorvation?
Alongside Motorvation, I mean, is the same thing that Motorvation has given me. Is the is help Motorvation grow, which is the same that Motorvation did at the beginning with me. I mean, it's I just want to see Motorvation everywhere. I just want to see that Motorvation is gonna be known as what we are, as the largest indoor showroom, which I take pride on that.
Yeah,
I always repeat it. The largest indoor showroom in the Southeast. But no, I'm not seeing Motorvation just here in Georgia. I'm expecting Motorvation to grow, and I want to be a part of it to help Motorvation, because Motorvation has helped me.
That's awesome, man. And where do you see the company, and where do you see the lengths of our marketing go to?
Wow, the company, I mean, I think we have very good people, very good people. Motorvation has been here in this location, the big locations, for over 3 years, I think. And I think we just passed that first phase of that 3 years, in which is complicated. I'm just now seeing the growth that we're starting to develop. And on the other side, the marketing department is this. I mean, is this showing Motorvation everywhere that I can.
MotorCast, man.
MotorCast, yeah, is showing Motorvation wherever I can. Different platforms, different vendors, our website pumping all the time. For some time, I've been doing it on my own. Then I have help. But I'm just thinking on creating a Motorvation media. The Motorvation media is like a whole, I don't know, side of the office, with a whole department and other people that we have overseas as well. So I'm just thinking that we're gonna create something awesome in the marketing department, that everyone's gonna know who Motorvation is.
Yeah, I believe that, man. And I feel like with your vision and with your creativity behind it, there's no way possible that we could fail. I really love listening to your story, Homer. Other than your professional, let's leave everybody with something a little bit personal. What makes Homer who he is today? If you could give everybody listening and watching maybe 2 or 3 attributes, some things to cling on to, because you're somebody that I want to be, right? You've gone through amazing changes, and I feel like there's other people that are going to be listening and watching this that feel like even if I don't want to be the marketing or creative director at a dealership, there are a couple things that Homer has that I want to embody. Maybe you can give everybody a couple attributes, some things that they can take home with them and cash in at the bank, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So the first one, as I said, is you gotta be, or everyone that wants to grow gotta be diligent. Um, a diligent person is not someone that just clocks in and out. I think is way more than that. I remember when I was a porter, the photographer that we had those days, or at that time, he had vacations or something like that, and I took the camera and I started taking pictures of the inventory. Right, I just did it, and I edited the pictures, and I just left sticky note. Hey, all the stock numbers are already ready in your computer. You only need to upload those vehicles. So I wasn't supposed to do that at the time. And it's just like that. Always do something extra of what you're expected to do. The other thing that I always say is that protect your circle. It's just like, I mean, on my understanding or my perspective, it's just like you're gonna be exactly the same of the people that surrounds you. So I'm always trying to be surrounded of successful people. That's one thing that I'm very cautious of, is that I just want to talk to the people like in the company. Every company might have gossip or drama or this or that, but even when I was as a porter, I was never on drama. I was never on gossip. I was never on this or that. It's just because I just know that successful people is not into that, and yeah, basically I think that's it. I mean, that's the two things that I love to do, and I just know that those two things are door openings.
That's awesome, man. And those are some real life values, real life attributes that you all can take in and cash at the bank, and hopefully make some changes in your own day to day if that's something that's important to you. I think everybody has had an amazing time getting to know you as close as I do. I think this is probably just the first page of an amazing book about you. And I can't wait for everybody to get to know you a little bit better as MotorCast goes on. But to switch gears here, what do you think everybody can expect in the future when it comes to MotorCast? What's next for us?
So MotorCast, I mean, we have a lot of stories about our team members, our vendors, people that we work with. It's just like we're gonna be sharing a lot of good stories about the people that surrounds us. We know that no one wants to be hearing us. Whatever we want to say with Raheem every single day is gonna be boring. So we want to bring people that is inspiring with very good stories.
Yeah, I think I know we're gonna bring on a bunch of team members who have not just inspiring stories, but entertaining ones. I think this MotorCast, what I like to bring for MotorCast to everybody is inspiration for sure. Just like this episode, I think it's just going to give you an idea of there's so much more to it than just selling cars. Number two, a form of fun, right? I've through Motorvation, I've actually found a friend as good as Homer, and I'd like to bring that to everybody watching and listening, is through MotorCast that we get to establish some sort of relationships. And most important, I want to bring valuable information, just what it's like to be inside of the dealership, inside of the mind of an entrepreneur, and how we're able to achieve some of the amazing success that we've been able to achieve. So I'm super excited to bring on some of the next guests that not only are a part of our team, but just a part of our circle.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So that's what you guys can expect from us, and I would think that we can cut it here.
Yeah. Thank you for zoning in to episode 2 of MotorCast. We can't wait to see you again.